All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We are back for another week of Just a Fan podcast. All right, so crazy weeks, crazy time since last week. We're gonna get into everything. Damn it! All right, here we go. But first, let's introduce ourselves. That direction, panel 316, the good guy with the black hat, and his message says, and then there was 8. Yep, Elite 8 NFL teams. And we're gonna get into it tonight about the Wildcard review.
And some teams that actually nobody thought would be there. That's there. You know, that's kind of funny. You got your usual suspects, but you got some teams that are, it's like, wow, for real?
What's up, Donald?
What up, Donald Ray?
And then you know who I am, Coach Williams, the NFL encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing, future Hall of Famer, baby. All right, let's get into this. Man, well, I'll tell you what. I thought last week when we logged off the show that we were finished with head coach firings. Man, I was wrong. I was wrong like 2 left feet. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
There's been 2 head coach firings. We're gonna get to the bigger one in a minute, but let's get to this one first, okay? Because this one was, well, I shouldn't really say a surprise.
No, because actually I had him as the first one.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna get fired
during the season
before the season was over.
Yeah, because they fired a GM, but they kept him. Okay, and so Mike McDaniel is no longer swimming in Miami because he has been fired as a head coach. Okay, now here's a guy.
He made it through Black Monday, and I was like, okay, well, he might be all right. And then about 2 days later,
bye-bye.
Yeah.
See you later. Yeah, so here's a guy who was an assistant for a long time. One of the assistants of that famous Washington coaching staff under Mike Shanahan, head coach, and Kyle Shanahan as offensive coordinator. I've also have included Sean McVay, the likes of Matt LaFleur, amongst many others. And he had some personal problems at times in his coaching career, especially in Atlanta when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator, Dan Quinn was the head coach.
He had some personal problems in Miami. It was called Tua Tagovailoa, but go ahead.
He rehabilitated himself. Was strong in San Francisco. Eric knows him very well.
He was a game coordinator in San Francisco. He designed a lot of the plays during that Super Bowl run.
Mm-hmm.
That's what actually got him the job in Miami.
Yep, as head coach. And so he becomes the head coach in the Miami Dolphins. And when that happened and he started building his offense, we were saying that he was this was a 4x4 relay team with the likes of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, and then A-Chain got drafted eventually. But now after what I think 4 years, 3 or 4 years, he has been let go by the Dolphins, no longer swimming with the Dolphins. Um, what do you think about this, Eric? Mike McDaniel out of Miami.
Well, there's two ways to look at this. Um, one one person could say, well, it's kind of not fair because he never really had a good quarterback. That's one way to look at it. He never got the quarterback that he wanted. He was stuck with Tua Tagovailoa, who they paid all his money to, and turned out to be pretty much a bum. But on the flip side of that is like, okay, you're supposed to be an offensive mastermind, supposed to be this guru, and it didn't show up on the field. And it's not like they did it too soon. He was there for 4 years, no playoff wins. 4 years, no playoff wins. I think if he'd have maybe gotten to the wild card round one of them years and won a wild card game, maybe got booted in the divisional round, his job still might be safe. Then there's the thought process of maybe he's just meant to be a coordinator, not a head coach. Because we talk about this ad nauseum on this show. We talk about how some guys are phenomenal coordinators on either side of the ball, but when they're given opportunities to be head coaches, not so much. And they just meant to be, they go back to being coordinators and do a great job. I mean, look at Josh McDaniels. Horrible head coach. Horrible.
2 different times.
2 different times. Horrible both times. But you put him underneath a good head coach and let him be an offensive coordinator, he tends to do pretty well. Going back even further, Wade Phillips, great defensive coordinator, outstanding, probably one of the best to ever do it.
Yes.
As a head coach, awful as a head coach. So the jury's still out on McDaniels. He's still a young guy. I think that he should. There are a lot of places that he can wind up.
Yes.
Possibilities are kind of out there because just now they're firing offensive coordinators. Philly. But they're firing offensive coordinators left and right. And, we really don't go into talking about coordinators as much as head coaches. But a lot of these guys – hey, what up, Cleve?
What up? Happy New Year's to you as well.
But you have guys who would gladly hire Mike McDaniel to be their offensive coordinator when they get these head coaching jobs. This plethora of head coaching jobs that are now available. And rightfully so. I think he'd do a great job underneath a good head coach. And he'd probably make somebody's offense look better. There's some places he could wind up that is scary if he went there.
Yes.
Imagine
definitely.
Mike McDaniel calling plays in Baltimore. Imagine Mike McDaniel calling plays in Philadelphia. That's a scary thought.
Yes.
That's frightening. Because again, but you got to be under the right head coach. You got to be as a head coach. You got to know how to manage your coaches. You got to be able to look at your offensive coordinator and tell him, "No, man, we're not running that. That's insane." But at the same time, still give him enough freedom to where he can, really make some things happen. It's a balance that has to be there. Thanos is right, by the way. But yeah, it has to be a balance. And if you don't have that balance, things could go really, really sideways. But Mike McDaniels had nobody over him other than the front office. And he kind of mismanaged that. I was thinking, I didn't think he would, because they had gotten this late. I was like, okay, he's not going to get fired. They're going to go after another quarterback and give him like another year. Nope. You know. What up, Q?
Was good.
But yeah, so I think will he go back to San Francisco? Because a lot of people talk about, well, he might go back to San Francisco. I don't think so, and here's why. For my Niner gang family, I don't think he'll go back to San Francisco because he got a taste of calling plays and having kind of carte blanche to call whatever he wants, almost. Not almost, but definitely because he was a head coach. If he were to go back to San Francisco, he would be designing plays and suggesting plays for Kyle Shanahan to call. But Kyle could be like, no, I'm going to call this. Because Kyle Shanahan is the play caller. And this particular year, he's doing a damn good job as a play caller. I give Kyle Shanahan a hard time. But this particular year, he has been in his bag. Hopefully that'll continue. But I digress. Possible landing spots. I can tell you right now, if Robert Saleh gets a job, if he gets a head coaching job, I can almost guarantee he's going to try to hire Mike McDaniel as his coordinator. I believe that. Next thing, and this is I'm gonna bounce this back at you, Brandon.
Okay. All right.
Who would be a logical replacement with the fastest turnaround in Miami?
So John Harbaugh makes the most sense out of everybody. The next head coach, another head coach comes to mind, but from what I've heard, it doesn't seem like he's going to coach this year. So I'm not going to mention him.
Wait. John Harbaugh is not going to coach this year?
No. I was going to say Tomlin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're
going to get to him in a minute. Of course, you've seen our thumbnail, so you know we're going to talk about that.
Of course. But yeah, Harbaugh seems to be the most logical choice. But I don't know anybody else right now off the top of my head who makes the most sense that's available to as head coach to replace him. Because here's the thing. There's no right quarterback in Miami because Tua, while he had that fantastic first year, he's limited. I'm not even going to talk about the concussion, the injury, especially the concussions he had. I'm talking about he's limited. He has a limited arm, and he's limited with mobility as well. Tyreek Hill's knee injury. You and I, we've talked about it. I forgot if we said on the show, but he may not play this year.
No, we've talked about it, and he probably will not play this year. And then you also talked about he's in his mid-30s now.
Exactly.
So you got to find a deep threat, which Jalen Waddle could be.
Yeah, but Jalen Waddle one time was on the trade block, so how much longer is he going to be?
Things change. When you get a new GM and a new coach, things change.
That is true. That is true. But
whoever might be on the outs could be like, no, we want him back. And whoever thinks that their position is solidified could be on the outs.
Well, let me ask you a question then. With the way Miami's roster is looking right now, would you keep Jalen Waddle amongst some of these other players, or would you try to start over?
No, I keep Jalen Waddle. I keep Jalen Waddle and Devon Chain. Those
Why?
Are core pillars. We always talk about core pillars of teams. You have guys who you really like, you want to keep them around, and then these guys that are expendable, but then you have your core pillars of your team. Right now, they don't have a quarterback to be a core pillar of the team.
That is true.
They have an exceptional running back. I literally call him like the Black Christian McCaffrey. The right guy can make it. Yeah, but it'll take time. and I'm getting to that. With the with Devon A. Chan, by the way, Missouri City product, Missouri City, Texas. Marshall High School, shout out Marshall High School. Devon A. Chan and Jalen Waddle, you have someone who could probably be an alpha dog receiver. Jury's still kind of out, but his salary isn't, in comparison to some of the later wide receiver salaries, is not as bad, so it's manageable.
Right.
And then you got your star running back who's a dual threat. You know, there's some guys that are candidates for the 2K club, and the next guy to probably go 2K, 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing, is between Travis Etienne and Devon Achane. Those are serious dual threat guys, and you don't let nothing like that walk out your building.
Okay.
You don't let nothing like that walk out your building. He was a star among bums in Miami, and so that's your core pillar of your team. Core pillars of your team. You keep those two guys around. Now you can blow everything else the hell up. You might want to blow up your defense. Why? Because you don't know who the new coach is going to be. Therefore, who your new defensive coordinator is going to be. It might be a completely different scheme, and those guys may not fit that scheme. And that's my point that I was making. To your point, Cleveland. Thank you for commenting. Is it could be a sweet gig, but it's not going to be overnight. The turnaround is not going to be, unless you can find a coaching staff that runs a similar scheme that was being run before, and there's not that much turnover. It's maybe coaching philosophy and just a few positions, namely quarterback. You got to have a quarterback. I don't know if they're going to stick with Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers could go right back to the bench.
Yeah, that's true.
With the new coach, we don't know. Or that new coach be like, oh, heck yeah, Quinn Ewers. Yeah, let's go. The new coach might be like that. We don't know. So the turnaround, Miami's been kind of bad for a second. Even without that talent. So keep your core pillars, and if you need to, blow everything else up, draft a whole new team. That's my take.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, defense now. Minka Fitzpatrick is back on the team, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be around on the team or even in the league. Not saying he's retired. Not saying he's in that retirement or anything, but he's not a cheap safety just off the fact that he is a veteran safety.
Who's that?
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
And see, yeah, that's a tough one. Because the positive thing about Minka is he's a smart safety. And so he can line your secondary up correctly and get your rotations.
Quarterback.
Huh?
Yeah. So he can play quarterback.
Yeah.
I think we've seen a decline over the last couple of years of Minka Fitzpatrick. He's not the star he used to be.
Right.
If his salary is not too demanding, keep him around, because he's the how do you say, the elder statesman in the defensive meeting room.
Yes.
And he will be pretty much the captain of that defense. Put the C on his chest, put a bunch of young guys around him, let him mentor those guys, and gradually phase him out, provided his salary isn't too expensive.
Right.
Yeah, that would be the move. So, but yeah, moving on, I'm sure everybody who's tuned in tonight has seen our thumbnail for tonight's show. That's something new that we're doing on Just a Fan Podcast. We're trying to make our podcast a little bit more appealing. So when you see us on YouTube, you'll see those thumbnails basically having to do with the topics that we're going to be discussing that particular night. Mike Tomlin, after getting throttled by the Houston Texans Monday night, has decided to step down as coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the running joke right now in Houston is like, Houston beat Pittsburgh up so bad they made Mike Tomlin quit his job and they made Aaron Rodgers retire. And I'm like, yeah, that tracks. Because if you watch that game, which we'll get into talking about the games later, but if you watch that game, that's kind of what went down. So Mike Tomlin has decided to step down from coaching. He was not fired. We still don't know what the conversation with the front office, what that consisted of, but we do know that he was not fired. He stepped away from coaching. Our sources also indicate that he's not looking to coach in 2026. He may just take a year off, take a year or two off. He may go into the broadcast booth. We don't know. He may just drive carpool for his kids. I don't know. We don't know. But 19 seasons. Yeah, I know, Cleve. I hate to see him lose.
Almost two decades, man.
19 seasons, 13 of them playoff teams. Won a Super Bowl.
Went there twice.
Went twice, won one. That's an impressive resume. That is an impressive resume for a head coach.
Did you mention no losing seasons?
And never had a season below 500. In 19 seasons, never had a record below 500. That's pretty impressive. Now, the conversation would be, had we not found out just recently that he may not coach in 2026, the conversation would be, where would he land next? But because we found out that he doesn't want to coach in 2026, that leaves the door wide open. I think the question that needs to be asked is, who are the Rooneys going to bring in that can get remotely close to, if not better than that resume?
Whew.
Bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the Steelers have only had 4 head coaches in their entire history. That's a record. Okay. They don't fire.
Unheard of.
Yeah, they don't fire coaches. The coaches retire and say, okay, I'm good. I'm going to the house. All right, we got to find a new coach. And one of the things I respect about that organization is that they give their coaches a bunch of chances. You have a bad year, that's all right. That's all right. What you need? We're going to draft this guy. We're going to go get this guy free agent. Come on, we're going to do it again. Let's go.
You know what? There were times when I thought Bill Cowher was going to get fired because saying he was going to get fired. But they kept him. They kept Bill Cowher.
Let me tell you something. And that's why that leads into this particular conversation. Whomever they bring in, that's gonna be like the sweetest gig in the NFL. That's gonna be the sweetest gig, because the Rooneys are gonna give you enough time, more than enough time. They'll give you more than enough time to get yourself together. Because honestly, we can speculate all we want. But I don't think Mike Tomlin was on the hot seat, even with this loss. I think Mike Tomlin's decision to step down. It wasn't.
He wanted a change. He wanted a change.
There's a lot of people talking about, instead of them, Mike Tomlin said, instead of y'all trying to find me, I quit. No.
He wanted a new scene.
Yeah. And I think he wanted a new scene. I think he wanted to do something different. Or he just wanted to take a little time off.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, Mike Tomlin is not an old man. So he could leave for a couple of years and come back.
Yes.
But the difference is between Mike Tomlin no longer being the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers and all these other coaches. These coaches were fired. He stepped away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm gonna stand on what 10 toes down on what I'm saying. Some people are like, well, he quit before they fired him. You know how some jobs would be like, well, we're gonna give you the option to resign, so we won't let you got fired. Some jobs do that. I fervently believe it was not that. I believe it was like, hey, I don't think he was on the hot seat. He's like,
No.
yeah, I don't want to do this no more. I'm gonna step away. So, but let's talk about who some potential candidates for the Pittsburgh job could be. And go.
Because when you think about it, first of all, you have to think about everyone who's fired. Okay. You look at John Harbaugh. Is he going to Pittsburgh? I haven't heard. I know. Let's. The reason why Eric is laughing because Eric wants chaos in the AFC North.
Dance, puppets, dance.
There's 3 AFC available jobs for the Browns, Steelers, and Ravens, and he would love for all 3 coaches to go to.
And Zach Taylor got a job. Still got a job. How the hell? How's Zach Taylor still got a job?
But anyway, I have not heard anything about John Harbaugh being interviewed in Pittsburgh, but that would be crazy. Plus, I haven't heard Kevin Stefanski, I don't think, being interviewed by Pittsburgh. So, but Mike McDaniel's been fired. I think Mike McDaniel will probably work for maybe 2 years, but eventually he'll have to keep that culture thing going. If you catch my drift. You can say, I mean, you can look at Brian Daboll, but yeah, exactly. And then, like, what other past head coaches is available? I mean, I've heard Mike McCarthy get interviews in different places.
I'm sorry, but folks, stop giving Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy interviews. Okay, stop it. Stop it right now. Kevin Hart. Hey, look at me. What I say? No. Stop. Wherever Mike McCarthy is, let him stay there. Jason Garrett's got a nice little cushy job over there at NBC. Let him stay there. You'll thank me later. Okay, go ahead.
So now you have to look at, okay, are there coordinators who are former head coaches that might make sense? Someone like a Brian Flores, who was the defensive coordinator in Minnesota. Or is there a up-and-coming coordinator that's never been a head coach that makes sense? Because before Tomlin became the head coach, he was never a head coach. He was a defensive coordinator in Minnesota, and he was also in Tampa Bay as an, I think, a DB's coach, if I'm not mistaken. So, again, the question is, I'm sorry, to try to answer your question, I mean, that's really tough because I just don't know who. I think out of all the guys I named.
Also, you got to consider this. Is Pittsburgh really, outside of the longevity and the patience of the front office, is Pittsburgh an attractive location because you may or may not have a quarterback?
They are attractive because of structure.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
But
outside of that,
and see, let me also throw something at you too. Yes, they have $30 million of salary cap space coming up this year, but you look at that defense. That defense is old, man.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot of money.
You got Haywood. You got
TJ Watt.
TJ
Watt. Listen. I know.
The Ramsey, crusty ass. You got all of them.
What's up, Brick?
Hey, what's happening? What's up, Brick?
I know TJ Watt. I know people love TJ Watt. I get it. At some point, I think you just got to move on from both him and Haywood. I know they were core pillars. I get it, but I think that defense just at some point needs to start getting younger. And I think now is the time since you have a new head coach. You know,
Like they brought in Kyle Duggar. They brought they drafted Joey Porter Jr., who hasn't allowed a touchdown all season, if I'm not mistaken, which is
right,
fantastic.
right.
Kyle Duggar's still a young player, but guys like Jalen Ramsey, get the hell out of here.
Jared Slate, bye.
Slate, yeah, they gotta go.
Yes.
You gotta get younger. It's kind of the same dilemma that the New Orleans Saints are dealing with. They gotta get younger.
Yes.
That would be on that new coach. It would be on that new coach to say, "Hey, listen, most of these guys got AARP cards. You want me to win with this? Also, hey, I need a quarterback."
Yeah, you do, because Aaron Rodgers. Now we just said age on defense. Aaron Rodgers older than me.
Let me tell you something. Fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, y'all ready?
Uh-oh.
The head coach of the Houston Texans is DeMeco Ryans. He is 41 years old.
The same age as Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is older than him.
That's true.
He's older.
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna be older than the coach of the opposing team? So, and Monday night, Houston's defense made him look old. Houston's pass rush made him very old.
Yeah.
Which is what I said the previous week. I said Houston's going to win this game simply because he's not going to be able to evade or escape that pass. He's going to be – they had him out there seeing ghosts. There was one sack that nobody touched him. He just went down to the ground. Shit.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Like they'll make a lot of QBs look bad, but they made him look old.
Yes. He looked like an old man, I know. And after every incompletion, they zoom in on him. He cussing everybody out. God darn it, Sonny, back in my day. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. You young whippersnapper. Every time somebody ran the wrong route or something, So yeah, it's like, hey man, Aaron, go to the house, man. You gonna get your gold jacket.
He was on the ground looking for his dentures, man.
Yeah. But yeah, get off my lawn. But the thing is, and this goes back
to Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, we're gonna move on from this and talk about this weekend's game. It's a great segue talking about, But remember when the season started and they picked up Aaron Rodgers, I said he's going to do just enough. Will not be successful if he gets rid of a long-time pillars to start, especially if they don't win games. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because, sometimes it's time for the core pillars can go because the core pillars are old. Like, well, I don't like this. Okay, well, you can go. Go. Good luck finding a job somewhere because you 35 plus, 34 plus, da-da-da-da-da. So, yeah, it's a new regime. It's a new day. So they going to be like, I don't like this guy. Okay, well, bye. New coach has the right to come in there and change up things. And yes, I don't believe they're going to be winning games right off the bat.
And they're not. They're going to have to build that team. It's probably going to take the route of, hey, year one, I need to slowly start bringing in my players, start getting rid of previous players. Year two, more of the same, but hey, we're getting better because I have more of my guys in. Year three, hey, we compete for the wild card or we get into the wild card. And then year four is like, okay, yeah, we might be conference championship contenders. So that's the route. And luckily for Pittsburgh, whoever become the head coach, they more than likely are going to have time to try to right the ship. Because again, they don't fire head coaches unless the head coach is probably just so dang on terrible.
Yeah, you got to be like, wait.
Yeah, you probably have to be very, you have to be terrible.
They have the patience of Job in the front office of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, they believe in longevity for their coaches. So whoever the fifth head coach, and I'm going to go ahead and say, you heard it here first. I think Pittsburgh might be one of the last teams to hire their coach out of all these teams that have vacancies. I believe that because they're going to do their due diligence. And here's the thing: it could be somebody that we got way out left field that we didn't think of.
That's why I said, is there a coordinator who's never been a head coach? And the question is, if so, who?
Clint Kubiak.
You talking about Clint Kubiak?
Clint Kubiak.
That's a name.
So
that is a name.
That's a name, but I don't know what it's going to be depending on what the roomies want to do. I think they're going to really do their due diligence and their homework because their mentality is not like the other coaches. The other front offices in the NFL. Other front offices in the NFL. Okay, we're going to hire this guy. Okay, he sucks. You're fired. Next guy. The Roonies don't think like that. The Roonies like when we are interviewing, they treat it almost like when you finna marry a girl. I plan on spending the rest of my life with this woman. That they marry their coaches. And
that is true.
And when these coaches retire, it's like, okay, I'm a widower now. Got to go find a new wife. So that's kind of how it is. It's not, oh, well, I'm going to just cancel it. I'm going to get me a new one. No, it's not that. So Pittsburgh's going to do their due diligence on this. And they may be one of the last teams to hire a coach. They very well could be. But I guarantee you that coach going to still be there when a lot of these coaches might get fired. The DC. Oh, yeah. Well, I did hear about that. I can't even remember who the DC. The funny thing is we can't remember who the DC for the Texans is. Because
isn't Matt Burke?
I think so, but, I mean, really, that's D'Amico Ryans' defense. Because
not only is it D'Amico Ryans' defense, he ain't going to be able to take a lot of those players with him.
Nope, because they're young. But here's the thing. D'Amico Ryans, defensive coordinator, leaving to go get a head coaching job is the equivalent of Kyle Shanahan's offensive coordinators going to get jobs. In reality, it's the head coach. And they kind of go and get these jobs based off of what that head coach is doing. Now, granted, D'Amico Ryans did hand over a lot of defensive play calling to this guy. So it might be a little bit different. However, he going to ride the wave. I ain't mad at him. So if he goes and gets a head coaching job, there's no continuity that's going to be lost in Houston because D'Amico can call. He can call defense. Now, it's not going to be a problem.
Now, I have a coordinator in mind that just hit me.
All right.
I like Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter.
Yeah.
I like Jesse Minter. I think that's somebody else to take a look at.
Yeah, that's somebody. San Diego, Lord. I keep calling San Diego. The LA Chargers have a very good defense. It wasn't their fault that playoff game was lost, which we can kind of get off into that now, talking about this past weekend's playoff games.
Well, so since we're coming off of Mike Tomlin, let's go and start off with the Steelers game. Where the Steelers lost to the Houston Texans 30-6.
2 defensive touchdowns. Listen. Let me tell you something. C.J. Stroud played probably one of the worst games he's played all season in that game. He was responsible for an interception and 2 fumbles. Lost. Had it not been for how just impregnable the Houston Texans defense was, I don't know if they'd have won this game. And had C.J. Stroud been remotely good in this game, the score would have been worse than what it is. And I know people are gonna say, "Well, Christian Kirk had over 100 yards." Yes, but the turnovers you can't overlook those turnovers.
You know, Christian Kirk probably had all those yards because I heard Nico Collins had a concussion.
Nico Collins went out with a concussion.
And they were probably paying more so attention to those 2 rookies at wide receiver than Christian Kirk.
Well, I mean, let's be real. When all of those guys are in the pattern, it's hard to cover them. Houston has a very
and that's the point I'm getting to.
Yeah,
it's almost like when Alabama had those receivers, almost of Ruggs, Smith, Waddle, and Judy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is when all four on the field, like you said, it's difficult to defend, and so Christian Kirk being the fourth receiver, hey, I'm wide open. I have a lot of speed still. If I catch this ball, I'm gonna make some noise. Okay.
Everybody talks about Houston's, how good Houston's defense is, but people don't realize how good that receiving core is. It's a vastly underrated receiving core. Noel, that was the other kid's name. Help me out, Steve.
Higgins.
Higgins. So you got Noel and Higgins, those two young guys, and then Christian Kirk coming in a support role. And then when Nico Collins is healthy, you have him, because if he clears protocol this week, that's going to be interesting. And then we forget about the fact that Tank Dell hasn't played this season because he's still recovering from that gruesome injury that he suffered last.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what? They have really given him a chance to fully recover because they have not sped up his recovery at all. I forgot all about Tank Dell.
Yeah, no. Yeah, because they have such good receivers.
Yeah.
To rush him back because
they didn't have to.
It's like, we good, just take your time. And we're going to throw you in the mix as soon as you're ready to go. And they really ain't going to be able to cover nobody. What has to happen this next playoff game with Houston is that C.J. Stroud cannot play like he played.
No, he can't.
He cannot. The defense was stifling, and that's what did it. We got a pick six. We got a scoop and score. I don't even remember how
tackles for a loss.
Yeah, the run. There was no run game in Pittsburgh. I don't remember how many times Aaron Rodgers got sacked. I literally lost count. It was that brutal. And even when he wasn't sacked, he was hit. The pressure was just constant.
And the thing about it is, this is a defense that is just simple. They don't blitz, they don't slant and stunt. They just line up in a wide nine, say, hey, go live in the backfield.
Yeah.
Linebackers, you read and react, you cover. DBs, you cover, and let's keep it moving.
Meet me in the backfield.
Yeah, that's a simple defense. Very simple defense. And people have been talking about it people have gone more into details about their defense on social media within the last couple of weeks. Talking about how simplified that defense is, but it's effective because they have the horses.
They got the dogs.
They got the horses to run that defense the way they want to on all levels.
I mean, the defense won that game for the Houston Texans, and I think everybody who's a Houston Texans fan realizes that. This is still going to go down as a playoff win for C.J. Stroud. But this was one of them ones. It's equivalent to, like, you count Jimmy Garoppolo's playoff wins,
right?
Yeah, he ain't do a whole lot. It was the defense and the running game. Because when it's playoff time, when we always say pack your
run game and your defense.
Hello, and they rush for team. I forgot.
That defense is easily top number one in the league, man.
They literally are a top three defense.
Really, they really are.
It's between Seattle and the Texans right now with the defenses. So yeah, you got Seattle, you got the Texans, you got Denver.
Yeah,
those are good defenses, and then you throw New England in the mix. Those are good defenses. So moving on,
New England.
The Patriots. Since we were talking about the Patriots, Mike Vrabel has the New England Patriots not only relevant, but they're Super Bowl contenders again. Most New England fans thought that they were going to be bad for a long time before they got good again. And
a lot of us thought they were going to be bad for a long time before they got good again.
They completely 180'd it. They 180'd it, and it was just like, okay, well, dang. But that's what happens when you draft the right quarterback.
And they did.
You got the right head coach. And
now,
that's really all it takes. And watch this, you got the right offensive coordinator. Because Josh McDaniels is a great offensive coordinator. He's a terrible head coach. He's awful as a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, he's fantastic. He is. He's fantastic. So, they the Chargers didn't have. I didn't give them much of a chance anyway. We all talk about the issues with the offensive line with the Chargers.
Yes.
Just FYI, they just fired the offensive line coach for the Chargers as well as the offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. But after that, and rightfully so. I don't know about the offensive line coach being fired because he was working with just piecemeal guys. Like 3 other guys on that offensive line were either dead last in PFF rankings or they were next to dead last. I don't know who was last, my God, but yeah, like it's 36 out of 36 guards. 36 out of 37 guards in the league.
Not to mention, both of their offensive tackles went down for the season, and Joe and Rashawn Slater. Those were huge losses.
So this is one of those playing with house money type, things. If you're a Chargers fan and you thought that you were going to make a run, I'm sorry, you're gravely mistaken about a great many things. Because Justin Herbert's okay. Some people hate Justin Herbert; they think he's a bum. Some people think Justin Herbert is fantastic. He just doesn't have what he needs. I'm a little bit more in the middle on that. Yes, there's some things out of his control. But also when you need him to put on the cape, he tends to not be able to do that. I can't crucify Justin Herbert, but at the same time, I'm not gonna praise him either.
I think
excuses. Go ahead.
I think it's gotten better under Harbaugh because Staley was not it as a head coach.
Oh, definitely not.
I still wish that Lynn was the head coach at the time with Pep Hamilton as the quarterback's coach. But okay, it is what it is now. Greg Roman is not a winning offensive coordinator in the league. He struggled in Baltimore, and now he struggled with the Chargers. Now he's gone. So with the
Greg Roman's best year was under Jim Harbaugh when the 49ers went to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick and Frank Gore.
That's right. Okay, I forgot. Oh, I forgot.
That was his best year. That was his best year.
I forgot about that.
Other than that,
it's been bad. It's been bad. So I'm wondering now, could Justin Herbert bounce back with the new offensive coordinator? The problem is, though, I've seen what you can do in the regular season. So if I see it again, but you struggle getting the playoffs, then it's time to really move on from you. Now, if you have success in the playoffs with this new OC, whoever comes in, then fine. So I think this is really it for Justin Herbert to truly, truly prove himself.
Provided they get the right OC.
Yeah, that's true too. But
you have an OC that's gonna fit with his skill set and be able
to exactly
maximize his skill set.
So, but the Chargers losing 16-3. That was it, man. That was it. They ran into a stifling defense, like you said. Josh McDaniels. The thing about McDaniels and Vrabel is, and even though Vrabel is a first, he's a head coach, but he's never been to Super Bowl as a head coach, but he's been to Super Bowl as a player. So, and because he's been multiple times, that's probably the reason why a lot of these games not really too big for him, even though coaching is different than being a player. It's just that probably because he's been so many times, it's like, okay, I can still kind of handle this. I can handle the pressure. So, and with McDaniels, that helps out as well.
We call that, what we like to refer to that is playoff pedigree.
Yeah.
That experience is not something to overlook.
Right.
When you're talking about going into the playoffs and being a playoff team. If your roster is the roster wasn't that experience, it was just the coaching that was experienced. Speaking of coaching, great coaching, the upset of the weekend, the 49ers traveled to Philadelphia. And yeah, I know most NFC East fans was like cheering it on. They was loving it. 49ers travel.
Hold on. Here we go.
Bang, bang, not again.
Bang!
And I'm gonna put it to you like this. Regardless of what happens this coming weekend or weekends after, I'm gonna need people to shut up about Brock Purdy don't deserve his contract. I'm gonna need them to shut up. I am. But before we get into that, when you talk about someone being outcoached, there was no greater example than that game in Philadelphia. Philadelphia had all the dogs. Philadelphia had all of the rest time. They rested their starters in week 18. 49ers was in a dog fight with the Seahawks week 18. Defense being held, not just defense, the whole team was being held together by duct tape and super glue. Okay? And somehow they managed to hold the Eagles to 19 points, one, and then two, move the ball against what people was calling one of the best defenses in the league this year.
And he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the league.
Yeah.
And Vic Fangio.
I'm telling you right now, I picked against my teams. I was like, I don't see it. I don't see how. Because Kyle Shanahan, before the other night, Kyle Shanahan's the most points he's ever scored against a Vic Fangio defense was 15. And they had met 4 or 5 times. But 15 was the most. It was like 15, 10, 3, 6. It was like that. And they managed to get it done. Yes, Brock Purdy had 2 really bad interceptions, but the difference is that he bounced back from them and led the game-winning drive like people who actually know quarterback and knew he could already do because he's done it before. Funny thing is he's led fourth-quarter comebacks. The number of fourth-quarter comebacks in the playoffs. Guess who guess who he just surpassed in the franchise?
Jeff Garcia.
No.
Jim Drunken Miller.
No.
Alex Smith.
No.
Colin Kaepernick.
No.
Steve Young.
No, good guess, but no. Steve Young was out there dominating people. He didn't have fourth quarter comebacks. Fourth quarter, Steve Young was finna go sit down. Joseph Montana. Joseph Montana. He has more fourth quarter comebacks in the playoffs than Joe Montana. Now in his career, in his very young career, 4th year in the league. People gonna have to stop. They're gonna put some respect on his man's name. Because you even got some of his biggest detractors that are starting to back off some of the things that they're saying. When you got Shady McCoy on Speakeasy, shout out Speakeasy, Acho and them. When you got Shady McCoy admitting that Brock Purdy's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, and you know what kind of homer he is. Shady McCoy is such a homer, he goes, don't, okay, and eats donuts. All right. So, like, when you got him saying that type of stuff, and you got people who have been detractors that are saying, you know what, I got to apologize. Against that defense, being able to do that, then you still got some people that's haters that's like, oh, well, Jawan Jennings had the best pass of the game. You know, but people forget that Jawan Jennings was a high school quarterback that was a 4-star recruit at quarterback and was rated higher, watch this, than Sam Darnold, let me see, Lamar Jackson, some of the names that were on that high school quarterback list. There's some big names in the NFL now. But he was rated higher. Oh, Joe Burrow. He was rated higher than all them guys. So, yeah, he going to make that throw. But he's a better receiver. But I'm just thoroughly enjoying it because they had so many Eagles fans that just knew that. I'm not gonna lie, I had doubt, but there was so many Eagles fans like, oh man, this gonna be easy work. We finna blow them boys out. We finna do this. We finna do that, and it didn't happen. So
Did not happen.
the Eagles fans this season have been the most obnoxious fans in the NFL, and it does my heart glad. And as I know, those of you who are NFC East fans, it does my heart glad to know that they got sent home in their backyard with all their players healthy and rested by a team that's basically playing with house money.
Thank you, San Francisco. Thank you.
That probably was the highlight of the year. And right there, I'm going to go to the next game, but right there, if you don't give Kyle Shanahan coach of the freaking year, I know they got Vrabel up there. Vrabel ain't dealt with what Kyle Shanahan didn't dealt with. No, who's done more with less? Because that's what I'm impressed with. If you can have the Peanuts Thanksgiving, you got some popcorn over here, some toast, some pixie sticks. That was Thanksgiving dinner. That's what he making Thanksgiving dinner out of. And Robert Saleh should probably get assistant coach of the year. Especially him. Fun fact, and I'm going to move on. The starting linebackers for the 49ers against the Eagles this past weekend consisted of two guys that were not on the roster when the year started. Got signed off the couch.
Off the couch.
And who made the play at the end of the game? One of those linebackers. Eric Kendricks, one of those linebackers. So, at this point, as a Niners fan, just taking off the analyst hat and just looking at it as a fan. Taking off the analyst hat, looking at it as a fan. I would love to see them win 3 more games. That would be great. But at this point, I'm just enjoying the ride because this team has exceeded expectations for the year. Everybody at the beginning of this season had the 49ers not even making the playoffs. You had some people that said the Cardinals were going to be better than them. They're going to be last place in the division. They're not going to make the playoffs. Kyle Shanahan's going to be on the hot seat, blah, 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 because they lost Dre Greenlaw. They lost Debo Samuel. They lost Talanoa Hufanga. They lost Who Shot John. They ain't going to be worth a damn. Threw dirt on the team.
Charvarius
Ward. Thank you. So they went from that to winning 13 games. In week 18, he had a chance to play for the 1 seed. And then going on the road with little rest and beating the Super Bowl champions.
In a hostile environment.
In the most hostile environment, other than probably Las Vegas, because Raiders fans are psychotic and delusional. But
moving forward,
the
Buffalo Bills.
Well, last thought, the 49ers are the proven thing. The season is a success. They could lose this weekend and it'd be like, okay, season is still a success because we weren't supposed to be here. Moving forward, Buffalo Bills at the Jags.
Beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-24.
Yeah, see, here's where, remember we talked about playoff pedigree?
Yes.
Here's where that came into play.
Yes.
The Jaguars had a really nice season. They got a new coach, Duval. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Jacksonville, now y'all might be better next year, but y'all didn't have the playoff pedigree that the Buffalo Bills had. I picked the Jags to win that because they were at home. They had the better defense. But when the lights came on, I know it was in the middle of the day. That's just a an analogy. But when the lights came on and when it really mattered, they kind of folded.
Yes, they did.
And Josh Allen did Josh Allen type stuff. Because why? Josh Allen has playoff pedigree. That matters. People don't understand when you facing a roster full of guys who've played a bunch of playoff games and have been in that environment and have been with that type of pressure on their shoulders and have done that. And you going up against a team full of guys that very few of them have seen a playoff game. When that happens, you got to lean on the guys that's got that playoff pedigree. And Josh Allen did Josh Allen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jags had a good season. Yeah. I'm going to let you know something right now, Jags. Y'all not winning the division next year. Houston will win that division because all they going to do is get stronger. That's all they're going to do. That entire defense will be back. CJ Stroud hopefully will be a better quarterback and a healthier quarterback next year. And yeah, it's
he just need to be a top 13 quarterback, top 12, top 13 quarterback. So he need to be
top half of the league. That's it. With a defense that good, you only need to be top half of the league. You just need to be decent.
Yeah,
that's it. You don't have to be superlative. Okay.
Also, Eric's second favorite team, the LA Rams, beat the Carolina Panthers 34-31
on this podcast. I wasn't going to that one. I was going
his favorite quarterback, Matthew Stafford of all time.
Let me tell you something. Puka Nacua saved his ass.
Matthew Stafford.
He's going to throw the game-losing interception, like I said he likes to do.
Eric thinks that Matthew Stafford is MVP.
I ain't never said that shit. You making my countryside come out. Y'all use a damn lie. Everybody else thinks he's MVP. No, get an MVP to Drake May. But no. Matt Stafford, and we ain't gonna stay on this long. Matt Stafford got saved by Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua played defensive back on what would have been the game-sealing interception. When everything's on the line, this is an example of sometimes playoff pedigree don't work for you any given Sunday. So he hangs one up. Panthers got the lead. He hangs one up. Safety goes up to grab the ball. Puka Nacua knocks it out of his hand. If that doesn't happen, the Rams go home and they will have lost to the NFC South champion with a team with a losing record. Now, most people say, but they won the game. No, they won the game. Okay, fine. They won the game. But you struggled to beat a team that backed into the playoffs with a losing record. And we supposed to believe y'all them dudes?
Eric does.
Like hell? I'd rather give a cripple crab a crutch. Hell no. You're not going to convince me. And there's still people that say the Rams are the best team in the playoffs. What are you looking at? Do you need where are my glasses? You want my glasses? What are you looking at? The Rams are the best team in the playoffs. Use a damn lie. When you got a quarterback who leads the league in turnover-worthy throws, is number one. You're not going to convince me of that. Well, he still ain't caught him with. Let them play a team that's going to catch them. They're going home. Okay? And when we get to my picks in a minute, it could line up that way. They could be playing a team that's going to catch them.
All right. Now, if you're a Cowboys fan, you was also excited about this game right here.
Oh, boy. Let me tell
you.
The
Chicago Bears defeated the Green Bay Packers 31-27. The reason why, if you're a Cowboys fan, you would love it because of the Micah Parsons trade. Had the Packers won this game and then gone to the divisional round and lost the highest draft pick the Cowboys could have gotten was 25. But because the Packers lost to the Bears, it's pick number 20. It's also because the Panthers lost. If the Panthers won, it would have been 19, but okay, whatever. We got pick number 20. Thank you, Green Bay. Thank you, Chicago. Thank you, Twan. I know you came on here late because of a meeting. Thank you, sir. Bear down, baby. Bear down. Thank you so very much.
Okay, so we got to thank Cowboys.
We as Cowboy fans, we thank the San Francisco 49ers, bang, bang. And we thank the Chicago Bears, bear down.
Well, first thing first is that You know, he gave it from the Cowboy fan perspective. I'm gonna give it from the analysis perspective. Caleb Williams, we're watching the maturation of Caleb Williams right before our eyes. He started off the game kind of slow. He kind of pulled a Bo Nix. Started off the game kind of slow, and then when the lights got brighter and the pressure got heavier, he showed improved. That fourth down throw in the fourth quarter was everything. He was off platform. He's running. He had to jump and make that throw, and he delivered a dime. And I don't think we've even seen the best of Caleb Williams yet. I don't. So it's going to be interesting to see him move through these playoffs. I'm going to tell you right now, if they pull this win off, because we can get to my picks now, maybe before games to pick. If they pull off this win this weekend, we're going to have to start talking about Caleb Williams as the top 10 quarterback.
And we're going to talk about Ben Johnson being able to turn it. I mean, he's turned the team around already.
Absolutely.
To get them, if he gets them to the NFC Championship game, my goodness.
That's impressive.
My goodness.
That would be impressive. But here's the thing. Chicago is another one of the teams, just like Chicago and San Francisco in the same category. They're teams that nobody had doing anything at the beginning of the year. Not even us.
Yeah, that's true.
Had them doing anything this year. And they're on the verge of potentially getting to an NFC championship. That's huge. You cannot overlook that. It's really, yes, he has the lowest completion percentage of all the quarterbacks that's currently in the playoffs. That's true. But I'm going to tell you like this. He makes the throws when they count.
And a lot of his players have dropped. His receivers have dropped a lot of passes.
So. Drop passes also, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he makes the plays when they count. Let's go ahead and get to the divisional round of edition of Pando's Picks.
Well, before we do that, also in this game, Trayvon Diggs only had one snap, and he was looking like
trash, 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 trash. I am trash.
Yeah, because we know Trayvon Diggs is trash. But that's hardly news. But let's go ahead and get to the divisional edition of Pando's Picks. All right, so last week we had 6 games. I was 4-2. 4-2.
And you could have been 5-1 if you just would have believed.
I'd have been 6-0 if I'd have just believed. The games I missed on was the Niners-Eagles games, and I missed on the Bills-Jags, which was kind of, the only real upset was the Niners game. I think. Wait, no, the Steelers were they were favored. So
they were favored.
I believe so, if I'm not mistaken. I think.
Oh God,
because they were at home. But this week we got the rubber match of the NFC West. We got the 49ers traveling to Lumen Field to play the Seattle Seahawks.
Is that what the name of the stadium is now?
I don't give a damn. I don't. I really don't care what they call it.
They got some of the loudest fans out there, though.
Yeah, don't care. So I'm gonna just be honest. This one, I'm only picking because Seattle is the home team. They're a huge 7-point favorite. I think that's nuts.
I think it's nuts too.
I think it's nuts to say that they're a 7-point favorite. The 49ers are going in without a George Kittle torn Achilles. But stranger things have happened this season. There are a lot of games that the Niners were not supposed to win that they pulled out some kind of way. They just came from Philadelphia and beat them. They just came off of playing the Seahawks 2 weeks prior. And just now, the practice window for Fred Warner was open, and he practiced today, full speed, coming off a broken ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Will he play in this game? I don't know. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. I don't think he's going to play in this game. But if he is active on Sunday, I'm going with the Niners. Because you have that. You ever heard of intangibles that a
Yes.
player? Fred Warner and the two guys on the 49ers team, Fred Warner and George Kittle. They bring the energy of that team up. Now, the offense is already kind of energized because they did it without Kittle, pretty much. Kittle went out second quarter. They know they can do it. But if Fred Warner steps on that field, that's gonna bring the energy of that defense up. Now, are they still gonna give up a lot of yards? Yeah. But I have to go with the Niners if Fred Warner plays. If he doesn't play, it's a toss-up. I'm gonna be honest, because it seemed like the football gods are giving the 49ers a rebate for all the trash they put the 49ers through with all the injuries. That's what it feels like. They're not supposed to win these games. So just gun to my head, I'm gonna pick the Seahawks, but that's a very light pick. Ladies and gentlemen at home, if you are betting, do not put money on this game. I'm just telling you that right now. Right now, the Seahawks probably are not going to get the spread. They're not.
All right. Before you continue, we have a very interesting comment right here.
Okay. Niners either way. Okay. And that's why they call our fans the faithful. I have to take the feelings out of it and have to look at it from an analytical standpoint. But yeah, I feel better. I put it like this. I feel better about this game than I felt about last week's game. The Niners winning. So if that's any kind of inclination, I feel a lot better.
Okay.
I think when you play Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh, those games that close together, I think they in the film room cooking up some stuff.
I also think too, and the only reason why I would even give a 7-point swing is because of that defense by Seattle. But my thing is, I think they're giving it a little bit too much credit to Sam Darnold as well. And Sam Darnold could end up having a terrible game on Sunday, and San Francisco could end up winning this game.
I put it to you like this. In the 13-3 game in Week 18, Sam Darnold threw two turnover-worthy balls. They got dropped.
See?
Then there was a fumble snap that the Niners did not fall on. That probably would have made a difference in the game because I think at that point it was 3-10. Yeah. And Yatir Gross-Matos, defensive end, he missed the ball. He jumped on the ball, hit him in the chest, rolled out. Seahawks recovered. There were 3 turnovers that the Seahawks made that were not picked up by the Niners. If they capitalize on the potential turnovers, the Niners can win this game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because you can't forget about Agent 23. Somehow, some way, CMC gets his yards. He gets in the end zone. I don't know. In the Week 18 game, he was about to go into the end zone, and he had an uncharacteristic tip-up for an interception.
No, Christian McCaffrey looked fantastic in that game against Philadelphia. He really did. I was like, wow, this guy is really, really balling today.
Yeah, he was on one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking again, from an analytics standpoint, Seahawks, they're rested. They've had 13 days of rest. They're at home. But guess what? The Eagles had rest and they were at home and they were completely healthy. So we don't know. Next game, Bills at Broncos. The Bills are traveling to Mile High to play the Broncos. The Broncos, here's the thing about the Broncos. There's some core pillars on that defense who do have championship and playoff pedigree.
They're on defense.
On defense. Now, the offense, not so much. But here's the thing. Buffalo's defense isn't that great.
Here's another thing too. Buffalo don't have receivers who can really get open by themselves
against that secondary.
Yeah, that's a problem. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, and this is interesting because it is Denver. I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends up looking like the Super Bowl when Denver beat Carolina.
It could be. It could, because there's a lot of pressure in Denver. We talk about the pressure Houston puts down, but there's a lot of pressure that Denver can put down. And guess what? If they don't get there, they got guys back there covering.
And that's what that Broncos team had that beat Carolina. This is almost similar because you're looking at two quarterbacks that are similar between Cam Newton and Josh Allen, and you're looking at the receiving core between the two, and it's similar. And I think Greg Olsen was on the Panthers on that team at tight end. And now you got Dalton Kincaid. So, but then you got the Broncos, who was able to get pressure with DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller with that secondary of Aqib Talib, Chris Harrison Moore. And now you got PS2 with
John Byrne.
But then Hufanga is what that safety was in Denver at the time. Was it TJ Ward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's so similar. I swear to God, I just now thought about it. I just now thought about it. I said it's almost identical in my opinion.
I think this game is gonna come down to late game theatrics, and Bo Nix has been showing he can get it done. Now
I don't know.
He's at home.
I don't know if it's I don't think it's gonna be that close.
You think the Broncos is gonna run away with it?
I do honestly.
Because Sean
Payton, I'm picking the Broncos now. I think he's just different.
But here's my thing. Sean Payton, we know how thorough he is as a head coach, okay? And Vance Joseph is no slouch, okay? And because two reasons. One, Sean Payton's not going to allow Vance Joseph to be a slouch. But then two, when they first got there, I always go back to when they got rid of Randy Gregory, and there was a few other small name players they got rid of because they were not staying within the scheme, within the structure of the scheme. They got rid of them. So my thing is, those are two very thorough coaches. Okay. And I can see Denver literally punishing Buffalo. If you did again, Buffalo's defense not really all that good. Okay. And they don't have receivers to create. Okay. They don't have that they don't have that alpha dog receiver. They don't have that what I say ankle wide receiver. They don't have that. This is similar, at least between Denver's defense and Buffalo's offense, to what it was in that Super Bowl game. It looks almost identical.
I think the best thing offensively outside of the tight ends for Buffalo is James
Cook, of course,
and then Brandon Cooks. Then Brandon Cooks at receiver, who doesn't look like he's aged a bit.
That's true.
He looks really good. But that being said, I'm taking the Broncos.
Yeah, and see, my thing is Drake Greenlaw at middle linebacker is going to almost offset James Cook, and the way they use Hufanga close to that line of scrimmage,
he's like
it's scary. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, and I mean, Buffalo has a history of getting outcoached over and over again, especially in the postseason. And like you said, Brandon, Denver's coaching staff, Denver has an overall better roster anyway. I mean, I think they're gonna beat them by at least 17, maybe 14 if they get some garbage time points.
And see, that's where here's again we talk about we got playoff pedigree with the players in Buffalo
and the head coach, Sean McDermott.
The head coach, but we got a better playoff pedigree with the players and with the coaching in Denver.
Right. Like I said, it's that Super Bowl. And see, we also have to remember that's not the only Super Bowl Sean Payton has ever been in. Because He was with the Giants, and when they went to Super Bowl, long time, even though they lost, but they still went to Super Bowl. He still went to Super Bowl. So the thing is, between Sean Payton going to those 2 Super Bowls and the structure and how disciplined that team is going to be, to me, compared to Buffalo, is going to make that difference.
Yeah. So I got the Broncos winning this. Next game, Texans travel to New England to play the Patriots. Bring your defense and your running game. I think that this game could quite possibly look like the Chargers-Patriots game. I think these defenses are going to cancel each other out. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and it's going to come down to basically which quarterback you can trust the most. And in that particular case, I trust Drake May over C.J. Stroud. I'm sorry, my Houston people, but I think the ride ends this particular weekend.
I think so too. And it's just because, it's, like you said, it's Drake May over C.J. Stroud. That's really going to be the difference maker.
Now, if C.J. Stroud shows up and plays out of his mind, we're talking a completely different game now.
And that is true. That is true. But he has
the ability to do that.
That's you want to talk about X factor?
Yeah, he has the ability to do that, but it's like,
but he's the X factor. He's really the X factor in this game.
Yes, he's going to determine the game. Because if he goes out and plays the exact antithesis of the Steelers game, Houston can win this game on the road. They can. Because we trust that defense. I think everybody trusts that defense. And I believe that New England's defense is not is a great defense, but not as great as Houston's. So he could have a good game against that defense. It's going to be to determine Houston fans is going to be completely on C.J. Stroud.
Yes, it really is.
And here's what I mean by play great. Protect the ball. That's it. Protect the ball. You ain't got to throw for 300-some yards. You ain't got to throw for umpteen touchdowns. Protect the ball. If C.J. Stroud protects the ball, Houston has a chance to win this. That being said, I'm going with the Patriots. These things get harder and harder to pick. I could literally be 0-4 when we get back on the air next week. I literally could be. The last game, the Rams travel to Chicago, and there is from what I understand, Twan, correct me if I'm wrong if you're watching, isn't there a blizzard coming into Chicago this weekend?
Even if it's not a blizzard, it's going to be so cold in Chicago. Matter of fact, I saw on social media today that Ben Johnson's having the players practice without the heat on.
To get used to it. They weren't happy about it at first, but they understood the assignment. So that's old school coaching, though.
You ain't lying. So because that sound like something Jimmy Johnson would do. Or Bill Parcells. But
Tom Coughlin.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be real cold in that game. And I don't think the Rams are anywhere near.
I don't trust their toughness. Period.
What game that was Kansas City versus Miami when it was just so cold in Miami. Looked like they just I don't trust the Rams toughness in this situation. They ran into an ice box and came out just shook, just frozen.
I do not trust the Rams toughness in this situation.
I don't either. That's an interesting point. I don't trust that. The Bears come from the original black and blue division. They've been playing black and blue football. And I do not trust the Rams toughness in this. I think Puka Nacua going to get folded going across the middle of one of these times. And when you get hit in the cold, those of you who played ball before, you get hit in the cold is different from getting hit in 80-degree weather. Mm-hmm.
And a 72-degree weather inside.
I was going to say, LA is usually warm this time, regardless of the time of the year. So
it's a different animal, man.
It's a different animal.
And guess what? Chicago's defense is not ranked high numbers wise, but one of the statistical points that they're ranked the highest at is takeaways. And just now, they're going to be playing the quarterback who leads the league in turnover-worthy throws. Give me Chicago Bears. I trust Chicago Bears. So, to recap, do not put money on the Niners Seahawks. I wouldn't advise that. But I got Seahawks over Niners, Broncos over Bills, Patriots over Texans, and Bears over Rams. If you're going to put money on any of these lines, I will put money on the Bears and I put money on the Broncos.
Yeah. And usually I don't make recommendations because, that kind of thing could be very, very tricky. But I'm very confident in the Broncos now. I really am. Now that I really, really look at it, because
they're a good team, man.
They're a good team. Like I said, the structure is just there, man. The structure is there. But whenever the Broncos are finished with the playoffs, they could potentially lose up to 3 coaches for different jobs. But
because when you're that good, people want your people. They want your people.
Yeah, yes they do. Yes they do. So, but we'll see. But that's a different topic for another day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for joining us for another week of Just a Fan Podcast. We are currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Okay. You can follow us on IG, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Okay. Next week we're going to be talking about division round, the results of the division round, and we're going to be leading up into the conference championship games.
Final Four.
Hopefully we have some head coach hirings between us logging off of here tonight and when we log on next week to go live. So, but we'll see. It won't surprise me if something happens on Monday, because I think I'm hearing stuff, but I'm not going to speak on it because there's a huge rumor going on out there. But anyway, Steve, thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Space Age.
Steve, Space Age. Hey, for people who are new, including Brick, yes, Steve is part of this podcast. He can, he makes it when he can. But he is the guy who came up with the idea of this podcast. This was his idea. So thanks, man. That direction, panel 316, the good guy with the black cat, and he says, and then there was 8. Y'all know who I am, Coach Williams, the NFL encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing, future Hall of Famer. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.